Welcome everyone to today's episode of the podcast. Today I am joined by the wonderful Marketa Garne, and Marketa has her own jewelry business, Booblinka Jewellery. She is based in Cornwall here in the UK, and she has a really inspiring story because she went from nothing to do with jewelry, not having a business at all, and she has taken a couple of diplomas with us here at Jewellers Academy, which I'll let her tell you a bit about. And she now has a wonderful, successful business. She is selling her jewelry in a shop, and she's just been really lovely to see her business go from strength to strength, as well as her making. And she's also very lovely. And if you guys have watched the Jewelers Retreat at all, you will recognize her because she was one of our jewelers on there. So yes, Marketa, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Hello, Jess. Hello, everyone. I'm really happy to be here, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, so do you want to get started by just sharing a little bit about your story? So I want to go right back to the beginning. How did you come to be involved in jewelry making, and what was that like for you?
Well, I came to England just for one summer in 2010, just to improve my English because that wasn't super great. And
where did you come from? Where were you?
I'm originally from Czech Republic, and I came with my friend. We decided to have a summer full of fun, just learning English and then go home. But we both stayed. She stayed for a year, but I'm still here because we really like Nuki, and because I always wanted to speak English. So this was a great opportunity for me to stay, and I met my husband. That was another reason. And because of the language barrier, I started to work in hospitalities. So I was just doing waitressing and working in local hotels. But then a few years later, I got really good job in 15. It used to be Jamie Oliver's restaurant here in Cornwall, and I loved that job. It was amazing because there were so many people from different countries, so it was very cosmopolitan. And I remember one winter there was a new girl started, and she was wearing amazing set of rings. Like, I just couldn't stop staring at it. I was just like, this is so nice. So the next day I just went to her and I asked her, where did you get them from? And she was like, well, I made them. I was like, what do you mean you made them? And she's like, well, I took the course and this was the outcome. We just sat there, we just did few hours, and that's what I came up with. I was just blown away. I was just like, wow. Because since I was little, I loved jewelry, and I was doing lots of beadings like necklaces and bracelets for friends and families. But it never actually occurred to me I could make something like actual ring or necklace or earrings, like a proper way. So when she said it, I was just like, wow, that's amazing. And the same day when I came back home, I had a leaflet from Truro College with lots of courses, and this course was there.
Oh, wow.
So it was like the same day happened. And so in the evening I just signed up straight away, and that's how my journey started. So it started in the local college.
I always remember that moment as well. I had a similar one to you where I was like, people make jewelry, that's the thing. Because I think in my mind I just thought, oh, it's all made by machines, like quote unquote proper jewelry, but then to see like, oh no, people work with metal and they bend it and they set stones and all sorts of things, enameling, and it's just like this whole world opens up where you're like, well, I could do that. Yeah. So you went to college, and then what happened? Did you know immediately you wanted to make it into a business, or was it for fun to begin with? What
So it was like a 10 weeks evening course, and I went in. It was about 10 of us, 12 of us, something like that, and a teacher, and she told us we will make a silver ring. So I was like, oh, this is exciting. But the first class was disaster. I just couldn't like get on with the saw. And it's just like, what is this? How am I going to do that? Then trying to use the torch. They had the ones what you have to blow in, so you keep the fire, like an old school one. That was another like, what am I doing? But then it felt like the outcome. I just could see the outcome. I'm gonna have a rank in the end of it. So I started to pay more attention, and literally I was drawn to it straight away. Not the first class, but the next one. I really, really liked it. And I remember like telling my husband, I was just like, I really, really like this, but it's not enough hours in the course, and because we have to use the same machines, there was a queue away, so you just can't get the attention properly. So I signed up straight away for another one, exactly the same course, but just do it again. And my husband was like, well, if you like it that much, why don't you get some tools and just start to practice, because you need to practice. It's like, oh, that's a lot of money, but yeah, maybe. So he got me a proper starter kit for students.
Oh, lovely.
I think it was from Prob. So I remember when it arrived, I opened it and I was like, I don't know what the tools are. I just know like few of them, but the rest. And to be honest, I still have a couple from the kit, which I don't know what they are good for.
They just threw them in there just to be like, yeah, we'll just shove some of those in.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how it all started. I just started to practice, and we weren't married then. And then I was like, well, we're gonna get married. I could make Simon a ring. And yeah, so I made him the wedding band, and I signed up for another course because I was just like, I can't stop doing it. Now I'm in it and I really like it. But I never thought about it as a business. It was like totally hobby, doing something aside. And the winters here are really quiet and very different from summer. So it's like everyone's gone, so I have something what I can do, and it just keeps me busy and happy. But then I discovered your school actually on Facebook, and
Wonderful.
I just
love that. And that was that London Jewellery School, was it?
That was London Jewellery School.
Yeah.
And I started to follow you, and I was just like, oh, I just really want to do this course. And I was like, I want to do that course. No, I want to do that course. And
we did have a lot. I think we had over 80 different jewelry making courses. You can tell I love jewelry courses, just kept adding them.
It's amazing because you can learn every day something new. Like, so I just kept looking at them, but then I was like, but then I have to go to London. And don't get me wrong, here is the airport, and you can take a plane early in the morning and be back in the evening. But they just seemed like really expensive that time. And it was after our wedding, and I fell pregnant as well with our daughter. I was like, I can't really do it right now, but I will one day. And I remember just that was in my head, and I was like, I'm going to do it one day. I'm just going to do it. So I just kept like learning from YouTube, like extra things, and reading books, and just trying at home. And because I live here by the ocean, there is kind of unlimited supply of sea glass. And I was looking at it first as a practice, like before I get gemstones and stuff. But then I really liked sea glass.
It is beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. It's quite mesmerizing, I think, when you start to see all the different colors and the different shapes. And I just find sea glass so calming. I mean, I love gemstones, don't get me wrong, but it's, I think I can see how you can kind of fall in love with it, even if you start off just like, oh, I'll just do a bit of this. And then, oh no, I love this. Yeah.
And I really like the story behind, because you don't know, you can imagine whatever you want, and suddenly you have a piece of sea glass in front of you. And it could have been like there for 100 years, it could have been there for 20 years, who knows. So that's, and another thing why I start to collect sea glass, because when I used to live in Czech, because we are a landlocked country, there is no ocean, I was doing lots of, I don't know if you say foraging mushrooms with my granny. So I was looking for something what I could replace this thing with something else, and the sea glass is perfect. It's like foraging sea glass from the beach instead of foraging mushrooms from the forest. So yeah, that was another passion what I did at home.
Yeah, there's something lovely, isn't there, about walking and discovering and looking, and it's just quite a mindful activity where you're sort of out in nature and finding things from the earth that you can make into something. I guess mushrooms is food, but glass is jewelry. Both good things to have in life, food and jewelry. Yeah. Well, so then how did COVID came? And we took our diplomas online, and I know you shared this kind of with me before, but how did that impact you and what you chose to do next?
So my daughter was just over a year or something like that, and COVID happened, and obviously I was still working in the restaurants just part-time, but it all stopped, and suddenly we were all stuck at home, and I just kept thinking, well, I need to do something. I really need to change something about my life, because I didn't enjoy working in the restaurants anymore. Having a child completely changes your priorities, and you don't want to do late nights and just sleep in the day, and it's just different. And then you brought the course online, and I was just like, when I found out, because I followed you on Facebook, it came like announcement there, I was just like, oh my god, this is exactly what I want to do, and I really want to do it. And like for a couple of days I was just like holding it inside, didn't tell anyone, but then I had to tell my husband, because it was like, this is what I want to do, I really want to try it. And he was like, yeah, just go for it. But it was quite a lot of money, and so I was like, oh well, even he offered to pay monthly, I was just like, I just want to pay it in one lump, so then I can have money for material or extra if I need. So I called my dad.
Get the family involved, get some support. I love that. And it takes courage, doesn't it? I think it takes courage to go from I want to do this, because I think anyone who signs up for one of our diplomas or any big program, you do want the support of other people, or you don't always get it because everyone's different, but to kind of say, I remember when I did my first big jewelry course, and I was like 18 at the time, and I said to my mum, like, I really want to do this. And she was like, well, people spend $9,000 a year going to uni to do things that they then don't even want to do. She was like, at least you found something you want, like, go for it. And I was really grateful for that encouragement. And it sounds like you had some really good encouragement as well from your partner and your dad. And what did your dad say? Because I know when I say I want to make jewelry, sometimes people are like, okay, that's an interesting choice. Like they, think it's just, a bit frivolous sometimes. But what was the kind of reaction there?
Well, I was really scared to ask him, because he doesn't really give money away. It has to be a really good reason. And I was just like, I don't know if my reason is really good enough. But I called him, and probably he saw the enthusiasm in me, so he said yes. And I remember, because I was leaving it till the last minute, and he started to say, oh, there is only a few places left, I started to panic. He was like, I need to get on the course. And there was a little issue, because my parents live in Czech Republic, so it takes a couple of days to transfer the money. And I was just like, so he did it, but the money weren't there. So I was just like, what am I going to do? So I called Simon's parents.
Get the whole family involved.
Yeah, the whole family. They gave us the money, so I paid with the money, and then when my dad's money came, I gave it back to them. So that was like a little transfer.
Well done. I mean, that's dedication, isn't it? To be like, I want this so much that I'm gonna put my passion behind it. And it's wonderful that people were there to just support. But I think as well, it probably came from your energy, if they could see that you really wanted this and that it was gonna.
That time I just didn't care about anything else. I was just like, I'm gonna get on the course, that's it. And everything else was behind me. And I remember I was like glass to spaces or something when my payment came through. So when I received the email, I just burst into tears because all the energy, all how I was trying to get on it, and it happened, felt so happy and so relieved. I was just crying here in the kitchen, and so I was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm just happy."
Oh, that's
So
that really warms my heart a lot, but I'm sorry it was so stressful for you at the same time. And I'm very
no,
glad that you got on. So you got on, you were in
I
the
got on.
diploma, and so this was the first diploma, the diploma in jewelry, and
Yeah.
it was the first year we did it, I think.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, so how was that experience for you? What was it, what you thought it would be? Were there any sort of things that were different? Any good things, bad things? What was it like?
It was amazing because I really enjoyed. I didn't have to travel anywhere. I could stay here. I could still be mum in the same time and just focus on it in the evenings when my daughter was in the bed. And because you have the videos, you can rewind it or forward it, and you see all the details. Because from the classes when I used to go to the college, I couldn't see everything because there was 10 of us and we were peeking through each other. I actually ended up recording some bits so I could watch it back at home, because when you are at the moment next to the person, you think you remember it and you get it all. But when you are on your own, I don't know with other people, but with me, sometimes I'm like, I don't know how they did that. It was just a little tiny bit what I didn't remember. So with the course, when you brought it online, I just loved it because I could just see it as many times I wanted it and do it in my way, in my speed. I loved about the diploma how structured it was, like that many techniques. I signed up, even I was doing jewelry before as a hobby, I still wanted to start from the very beginning just to see if I did things right or what else I can improve, how to do it. And I'm so happy I did, because I improved. I was doing many things the wrong way. And just to
different
see
way.
different way.
You found a better way. You found a better
way
way.
more complicated way, let's say.
Yeah. And what was it like learning from all the different tutors? Because obviously, especially the silver diploma, and all the diplomas, but especially the silver, there's lots of different tutors and lots of different projects, and you have your mentor. How was that for you?
Yeah, really nice, because each one's got different techniques, different style. They give you different advice. I enjoyed it, like the whole thing, because we had the group meetings every fortnight, which was really lovely to see people who are in your group. So you are in the Facebook group, but you don't see the faces behind. But if you do the Zoom and you see the people, it becomes better. Like I don't know, it's just really nice.
You can connect more.
You can connect,
absolutely. And how, at what point did you start your business, and how did because I feel like from an outsider looking in, I've seen your confidence really grow. You've also done the fine diploma, which we'll talk about in a bit, but I've seen your confidence really grow. I've seen your jewelry really grow as well, and also your business. So at what point did you start it, and how did that kind of link in with your studies?
Well, I'm the type of person who wants everything right now. And I realized I actually can't do that. I can't do everything right now. I really need to learn and start from the beginning, and just sometimes take a step back. So when I started the diploma, just the first lesson, I think it's about just piercing and filing. That was a big lesson for me, because I realized I was doing it, but I was doing it way more complicated, how I said before. And I found out it's a basic skills. What do you have to really improve? If you don't give time to this, then you can probably make jewelry, but it wouldn't probably last or be that strong, or because it would be way harder to finish it. So I started basically to sit every evening at least half an hour behind my bench, just file or just pierce like straight line, or just square or triangle, and I did it for like 3 months, because before starting, I shouldn't admit it, but I was
It's a safe place, don't worry. No judgment here.
I was just avoiding sore. I hated
Oh, there are jewelers who've been like making jewelry for 20 years that still avoid a sore, so don't feel bad.
I was using cutters to cut bezels or stuff, and now I can't imagine not to do it with a saw, because I got in the rhythm. I just built up confidence with that. And that's what was amazing about the diploma, the encouragement from tutors, like just keep telling you, you know, you will have a great days, but you might have a bad day. You just have to like practice and don't be hard on yourself, which most of us are. And yeah, that was basically what made me to realize, well, it's all about practice. Even the master goldsmith, they had to start this way. Like, so I've got in my head, I've got big goals, like where I would like to be with jewelry making. But the diploma basically helped me to realize and structured what I want to do, to shift out techniques, what I want to learn, what I will be focused more on. And yeah, during the diploma, I am because my friend here in UK, he's got a little studio / shop in like a main bit in UK, and he offered me I can put my jewelry in, which was amazing. So we had a deal last year. I was there once a week, 1 day a week, and I could have my jewelry in. And that's how I start to meet up with people. I realized basically I can sell the jewelry. I could make some money from it. And so I kept doing that. And it was really, really lovely. And then because Vince's here are really quiet, so he wasn't open every day, and I didn't have to go there. And I wanted to focus on the diploma anyway. So I started the fine jewelry diploma, and it was in April. I got an offer for a really nice workshop, and it's in industrial estate. It's quite busy there, but it's not like a footfall. You would not get customers like walking. Just if someone goes there, they want to see you. And the space was really nice, and I had 1 weekend to decide if I would like to have it or not. And because I wanted to move out from our spare bedroom, it was just like, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna do it and see what's gonna happen, because if I don't do it, I would probably be wondering every day like why I haven't tried. So during a diploma, I didn't go back to the restaurant, to the hospitality anymore, and I was just like, I'm gonna try my best and see what's gonna happen.
Love that. Yeah, I love that about you, that you just, it feels like you're so committed that you just keep moving forward. And I think that's, you know, it's such a lovely energy, and it's very inspiring to see, because I'm sure there's fear. You know, I'm sure you've had moments of fear and doubt. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that and how you kind of overcame them.
Yeah, I definitely I still have fears, I'm not gonna lie, but I think if you don't have a fear, you are not aiming high enough. That's not from my head, but it's something what I resonate with. So I remember when I got the offer for the workshop and I had just the weekend, I didn't sleep that weekend and I had lots of cold sores, because I was just, you know, your mind basically creates the worst possible scenarios in your head. And I have to say, I've got really amazing support in Simon, in my husband and his family. And my mum, she doesn't really appreciate jewelry, but she's supporting me. So I know I've got people behind me who are encouraging me. And because I was getting lovely comments about my jewelry, that built up my confidence too. And what helped me the most, it was when you asked me to be the part of Jeweller's Retreat, because until then I would never ever feel like I can do it. So thank you so much. That was the biggest like kick what I was given. It's like, wow, if I can do this, because when he called me, I remember the day when he called me and asked me for that. I didn't even hesitate, and I said, I'm in. But after the phone call, I was just like, oh, how am I going to do it? What did I do? And it just kept playing on my mind. But I'm so happy I did. It was something like I really needed. And basically, yeah, it all started from there.
Wow, that's amazing, isn't it? And I think, you know, I remember calling you as well, and I thought, oh, you know, Marketa, she's got a young child, she's in Cornwall, it's a long way away, it might not be possible for her. And I remember as well, I was like, you just think about it. And you were like, no, I can do it. And I was like, that's amazing. But I think there's something about you, that attitude that you have, that mindset of like, say yes and figure it out later. And I think that really stands you in good stead, you know, just in life in general, but also in jewelry. And a lot of us do that with commissions or things, and we're like, yeah, sure, I can do that. And then we kind of go and figure it out, because everyone is different. But yeah, absolutely. And I think it's interesting to see where your confidence has come from, and these little boosts that you've had along the way, and the support you've had. But I think all of it's really come from you and your kind of just passion for jewelry, because everyone can see it. And then everyone, you know, even one of the reasons we asked you is because you were very active. We were like, oh, who's around, who's like involved? And we're like, oh, Marketa, she's awesome, and she's going for it. And so yeah, it kind of all comes back to you and your passion, I think. So you did the retreat. Did you do the retreat before you did the fine diploma? I think you did. Yeah. So we had that awesome kind of experience, and you know, it's a lot to put someone through as well, to go to someone else's house. It's very far away, and leave your young child for a while, and be put in an environment where there's cameras all around you, and you've got to make things. How was that for you? How did that kind of shape the next chapter?
Well, it was my first time to be away from my daughter for overnight, like more than one night. And it was amazing. When I arrived to the hotel, I had, for the first time in a couple of years, bed for myself. So,
yeah, I can relate.
I had a great sleep. I remember that was amazing. And then, yeah, we came to your house, and everything was like really nicely set, but the cameras were in. So I felt, oh, how I'm gonna do it? What am I gonna say? How I'm gonna sound? Like, because I'm aware English is not my first language, and sometimes I make pauses, or sometimes something doesn't come straight in English, it comes in Czech. So I know about me, I can say mixed Czech word between English sentence. Yeah. So it's like really conscious about that. But everyone was so lovely. The film crew, Jonathan, like all the people, just made us to feel so comfortable. Basically, I didn't pay any attention to the cameras anymore. I just remember it was boiling hot.
It was very hot. So, it was in the middle of a heat wave, wasn't it? Yeah. Like torches out, do some KMBoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the things. Yeah, well, you did an amazing job, and yeah, and that show will always be there, you know, to show people and to look at yourself, and such a proud moment, hopefully. So yeah. So then you went on to do the fine diploma. How was the decision for you going from silver to fine? Because I know for some people, they already know they want to do it. For others, they can be a bit nervous about, well, the silver was hard enough, can I really do the fine? Or, you know, financially as well, there's things to consider, time, whether you want to work on growing the business or develop your making. So what was going through your mind?
Through my mind, when you said you're going to do fine jewellery diploma, I was like, I'm in. There was no hesitation. I didn't think about money. I didn't think about anything else. I was just like, well, I've learned so much already, so I will learn even much more. And then you released a little reel or video on Instagram, what will be on there. I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I want. This is exactly the way how I want to go. That's what I really want to learn. So I did it. Yeah, it just, again, just managed to get some money, just paid everything, even the material kit, because lots of people I know, they didn't get it, but for me it was like a mum, because my husband works away, I have to be here all the time, so to take this right away. And it was amazing because I received the material kit, everything was prepared, so I didn't have to worry like if I have to source the material somewhere else.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that.
Sourcing all the materials.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. But it's nice to have them there, especially the first time you make something, and then you can kind of learn about what you like and buy your own bits,
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I love that.
What projects were you excited about in the Fine, and were there any that you really enjoyed or really didn't enjoy?
Yes. Yeah. When I started the Fine Jewellery Diploma, because the silver one, I remember it didn't seem that difficult. Like some parts were, but I always managed to do it in time, and I was on top of it. With the Fine Jewellery Diploma, it was totally different story. And that caught me by surprise, because I was just like, well, I will be again on top of everything. I wasn't, and I couldn't, because I realized this is very different level. I actually have to take it slow and just pay attention, and not to do a few things in the same time, but just to focus. And yeah, that was a big lesson for me, very big lesson, but in a good way. And well, I was super excited to learn making lockets. That was one of the things where I was just like, yeah, this is amazing. I can't wait for that. And locket was my nemesis, like from the whole Fine Jewellery Diploma, it was the worst.
Oh really? That's so interesting. I've not heard anyone say the locket yet, but it's always like this with every diploma. And even when we used to do them in person at London Jewellery School, I'd ask everyone, like, what was your favorite project? What was the one you least liked? And everyone would have, some people would be like, oh, wax, the worst. Some people like, oh my God, wax, the best. And, the same. I've heard tennis bracelet being challenging for people. I've not heard locket yet, so that's an interesting one. So locket was waiting for you.
Wow, locket took me 3 months. Wow. And I literally made about 5, and I smashed a couple of stones, but now I've been using it a lot because I really like thick bezels, thick rims around the gemstones. And yeah, so I remember I was looking really forward to learn how to do that. And now it doesn't matter what stone I have, I can create a setting, which is amazing. So yeah, that was my favorite project.
Yeah, that is a wonderful feeling and achievement, isn't it? That whatever stone is given to you, you can make a lovely setting for it, and you have the confidence, you can work with it. And so tell us a bit about how your kind of signature style has evolved from the sea glass to what you do now. And you talked a bit about your ambitions as well, in terms of your own jewelry, the things that you make.
So yeah, it basically all started with the Fine Jewellery Diploma. Everything started to become more clear, and basically the colored setting made me realize this is the type of jewelry what I would like to do in future. Just simple designs, but they stand out in the same time, because sometimes the simple designs are really hard to achieve. And I love ocean, I'm not gonna lie, that's basically why I live here. And I've been lucky enough just to live 5 minutes away from the beach, so I can go down anytime I want to. And I love the colors, because in Cornwall, like, the colors of the ocean change so much, so you've got so many shades, and that's why I've been using lots of blue stones, mostly topazes. They are my favorite, just because they remind me the ocean. And I love mixing metals. That's what I'm going to, because I used to be just a silver person, and if you give me gold, sometimes I'll be like, yellow, it's like warm, not for me, sorry. And more I started to work with it and discovered like how amazing the metal is. I appreciate it way more, and I'm actually switching to gold. but but I want to make my jewelry still affordable for people, so that's why I'm mixing silver and gold. Because you can still make a statement piece, which in gold would be way out of the budget for many people. But if it's mixed metal, you can still make it affordable for people here. So yeah, just adding like a tiny gold granules or, you know, little details. I really like that because the gold reminds me sun. And it's just I use lots of mosaics as well, tiny ones. So I'm adding it to my designs. So you basically, when you in the summer, when you go to the ocean and you see all the sunlight like dancing on top, that's what I want people to remember. So the jewelry basically reminds you exactly this view, the peaceful moment in the morning or evening, it doesn't matter. So yeah, my theme is definitely heavily inspired by ocean, because that's what I love.
That's wonderful. I love that. I love that visualization as well of the sun and the ocean. You use a lot of those blue stones and then the twinkling from the mosaic. So yeah, it's beautiful, and it's been wonderful to see the evolution of your work, and I can't wait to see what is next as well. So if anybody is listening to this and they're weighing up whether or not they want to do one of the diploma programs, what would your advice be to people listening?
Absolutely, yes. If you have the passion, if you really feel like this is what you would like to do it. Because honestly, when I started, I always thought it will be hobby for the rest of my life. I'm not good enough, but actually you can prove yourself, you can do it. And the support is amazing. I really like, during the silver diploma, we had the Zooms, and I had meetings with my tutor, Barbara, and then I had in fine jewellery diploma, Amy. Both of them very different jewelers, but both really helpful. And honestly, each session was so valuable for me, because they always told me what tricks or tips I can use like to improve. And you don't get that if you do it by yourself. Like, you can watch so many YouTube videos, read lots of books, but this, like having the contact with someone and giving you feedback on your pieces, what you do, is just priceless. I think it's amazing, and that's, I would definitely recommend either of those diplomas to people who wants to improve, who wants to have jewelry making as a job, or I'm 100% behind it. And I know you've got the advanced one, and I really, really want to do it, and I will one day. But because I start the business, I just need to focus on the business a little bit more now.
Yeah, absolutely. No, well, it's been amazing having you as a student, and it's just so lovely to see what you've done, you know, with the training that we've created, because you know, like everyone who has a business or a passion, we spend so much time putting it together. And I always make the courses that I want to do. So I'm like, oh, this is what I would want to do. And then to see how other people take it and what they then do with it and how it impacts their life is just really wonderful for me. So thank you for coming and sharing your story. And if people are listening and they want to see your jewelry and find out more about you, where is the best place for them to connect with you online?
So the best place is Instagram. I'm there, and at Booblinka Jewellery. I've got a Facebook page too, but I prefer the Instagram more. And I've got my own website, booblinkajewellery.com. If anyone wants to look or buy something, you're more than welcome to do so.
Wonderful. Yes. And Marketa has beautiful jewelry, as she has described. So definitely go and check it out. Go and say hello to her, drop her a message on Instagram, let her know you've been listening, give her some love and support, because it's just a wonderful community and it's just nice to have people connected to each other. So thanks again, Marketa, and a massive well done on all you've achieved. It's all come from you and your passion and your hard work. So can't wait to see what's next for you.
Thank you so much just for having me and creating the diploma courses. Thank you.